Hey guys, this is Dwayne Cameron, and this is a shout out to Action Activate.
Hello, it's me, Gazbot, and I'm here for Action Activate. And if I'm Gazbot, and this is Action Activate, then with me, as always,
ding, it's me, it's the big dog. Foreshadowing for what we're going to talk about this episode. What are we talking about this episode?
Go, Loser Ranger.
Episode 8.
Yeah. What is it called? Shout Out Loud Cadets. Shout Out Loud Cadets.
Yeah. So overall,
yes.
I know you said this mini arc of the test isn't your favorite. What'd you think of this episode of the test, though?
I continue to think this mini arc of the test is not my favorite. I don't. This was about the same as the last one. There were parts of it I like better, parts of it I like. What I like about it is it does seem to be wrapping up. It doesn't seem to be a forever thing. There was interesting stuff in the test. There's again, I always call them Naruto moments, which is not accurate because it's just anime moments, but the fake out of you think something happened and then oh, but here's what happened for real from a different point of view, which Naruto did not invent, but that's when I saw it for the first time. So it always reminds me of that. And they had the nice thing of taking the key because the timer was down. It's clever. It's the underdog losers doing their thing. And that is the way they should be winning. But I'm also let's just get on with the main story. I don't really care about this.
I care about this more into the next episode. Full transparency also, this is one of the only times we saw this episode and the next episode. We have notes to make sure we're not diving into episode 9.
I didn't take notes.
I only took notes of episode 8, so I know what happened in it, and I don't bleed into 9. That's the only notes I took.
Gotcha. Okay, well, you take the lead, and the slideshow will help us, too.
Yes, so in this one, they faked out, the underdog team, as we're going to call them, faked out the jerk team, making them think that the timer went. So they're like, oh, I'm going to get the key, blah, blah, blah. Then they kind of waited him out and, did a little switcherino and stole the key back before the actual timer went off. And then ran out the clock, got the key, moved on to the day 3 final day of the test.
That was a good strategy. And
yes.
It's I guess that's the thing. If this was Naruto and I was I care about these characters and winning the Chunin exam and all that stuff, I'd be a little more invested. It's interesting. It's not badly written. It's not boring in a vacuum. It's just I'm way more interested in the other stuff going on, especially once they showed the boss show up and double X is out there doing stuff. I'm that's what I want to see more than that.
Yeah.
This to me is filler now.
Yeah, the fight that we see with the boss monster later was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. Them going over, retroactively, the plan is cool. The fights, nothing against these fights. They're just a lot of the same of what we've seen, so nothing new there, except for this. This part is different.
The boss stuff.
The boss is just going about his, divine cleansing, it seems, of the academy, as it were.
Creating peace through destruction.
I did love this, though. Every time I describe the show to people, I'm like, it's like The Boys, but Power Rangers version. And this was very much an example of that. If I were to show somebody of go run for yourself. No, I'm going to stay with head explodes.
Because that's not usually what would happen at all.
Yeah. The power of friendship did not prevail in this instance.
No. But I do like how when they fight, even though she's a junior member, she holds her own, and she has I forget what they called them, the facsimile weapon. It's not the official.
The divine artifact.
But it's not the divine artifact. It's a piece of it or a replica.
Yeah,
of divine artifact.
I think it's a piece.
It looks like a piece because he later recombines it. But they called the other one in the earlier episode when they were fighting D. They called it a replica or a facsimile or something like that.
Something.
But even that was able to injure the boss, which is again one of those things where this boss is clearly powerful, but if one low-powered version of one ranger could injure them severely, it seems like, yeah, okay, I believe that the Rangers wiped them out immediately, but how did that happen? Where did they get the divine artifacts?
So to me, it's funny, going back to Power Rangers, this seems very much like the boss monsters are definitely more powerful than the fighters, the dusters.
Yeah.
Like, that is clear as day. But similar to, like, Mucus, the dusters are just indestructible. Like, that is what they have going for them, except for the divine artifacts. Whereas with the boss monsters, they're a little bit squishier as well, which is why I could see if you get a good hit with a divine artifact, you're good. Getting a good hit, though, is very hard when they will explode your brain with a laser.
Right. Yeah. But again, where do the divine artifacts come from? Because I have this vibe that, like, all the Ranger tech comes from the aliens. I don't know.
I think we talked about that in the past too. It's
I don't
interesting.
think they've ever said in any way, shape, or form, but it just feels like that's true.
It feels like the core of it is there, and then similar to like in the Boom Studio comics, how they like tweak morphers and stuff. It seems like that's kind of the vibe they're doing with those, where they're like, well, it's not as powerful, but you get like kind of a divine artifact, and you're first junior rank lieutenant, whatever. I really like the Afro guy, by the way. I forget his name.
Me too. But yeah, how he turned out to be like a smart kind of, and he's like, whatever, you're a monster. You help me. You're on my team. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm sure this frustrated you again, where you're like, are you the guy or are you a duster? I can't tell because you keep being the guy.
Yeah. I didn't understand this part at all. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Did you understand this at all? Where the muscle guy became a skinny old man because he was.
Yeah, so this was very like anime tropey, where it was just like, again, the power of friendship prevails kind of thing, where I don't think he has any superpowers. I think this was all just to be very dramatic.
But if he has no superpowers, all right, I might be jumping ahead to the next episode, but there are things that happen.
You are.
Okay, but there are things that happen later that back up the theory that he has superpowers. And if
I think he's just crazy durable.
Okay, but it's I didn't like this because if the premise is, it's that thing of like, I mean, I've watched a fair amount of anime, and so I understand certain tropes and stuff like that. But this isn't like old man Master Roshi like getting revved up and throwing a good spirit bomb or whatever. Like, he still looks like an old man. He's just tough, you know. He goes from looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger to looking like an old man about to die in seconds, and based on nothing but just feeling good about himself. And like, it's weird, and they don't explain it at all. And it doesn't feel like this is a comedy trope, which I guess it's supposed to be. It feels like it's that thing of like, make one leap of faith. I have the leap of faith that we're in this world where monsters are real and they're fighting them. Fine. But other than that, everybody's a normal human. What's with this guy? Why is he like this?
Do you watch My Hero Academia or no?
I'm aware of it, but I have not watched it.
This seems like a joke making fun of All Might from that show.
I definitely felt like this guy reminded me of what I know of All Might. But does All Might, you know, spoilers for My Hero, does All Might turn into like an old skinny guy when he's depressed?
He's very frail at various points, and then he gets very big at various points. So that's what, to me, this is big, dumb, oafy, Superman trope. Like, I am the big, dumb, strong guy.
Does that seem like it fits into this show, even knowing that joke, though?
Yeah. Because he's the only like crazy jokey character like that, which is why I loved it.
I guess I'm thinking, going back to like, if this was The Boys, it'd be like having some homage to Jerry Lewis in it or something. Like, you know, like, oh, there's this other comedy icon. Let's put it in The Boys. Like, what? Why?
I could see. I mean, anything can happen in The Boys.
Yeah.
B, this to me, I actually really enjoyed because I saw the same thing, and then this is a rare instance where something didn't bother me and I liked the joke of it, and you're like, no, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense unless you take your brain out of it, and then it's just really funny.
And here's the distinction, because I kind of like this campy, overconfident guy. And I even like that, you know, he lost, he was betrayed, he got his feelings hurt, and he's like, it's pointless, whatever. I'm like, and then they give him, and he's like, I'm great again. Like, I'm okay with all of that if he didn't physically turn into a skinny old man. If he just kind of like felt bad and was like, I'm weak, and like just psychologically couldn't do it, like, I'm on board. It's the fact that you see him transform, it bothers me, unless they explain it sometime later, which I don't think they will.
They don't need to. I got everything I needed from it.
Yeah.
But that part was funny. kind of going over the weapon a little bit and like
Blue
thinking
tells
about
you-
it.
There's something important I got to say. Going back to Blue being pretty cool.
Yeah.
Figure. Did they talk about this episode by the end of it, where it has this third mode?
Yeah.
Like, the third mode I found, and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, and so they all like have this advantage now once because of Blue.
Yeah. The idea of the third mode is talked about here, and then it's shown later on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Going over again. The boss is gonna take out the blue right hand person, and homeboy comes in and acts heroic. Man, good for him.
He definitely felt it, but yeah, similar to what you're saying before. It's not like, I mean, he did save her. He pushed her out of the way, but it's not like then he went on to valiant. Like he just traded her life for his, basically. As far as we know, the implication is that he's dead.
Oh, I'm 99% sure he's dead.
I'm 99% sure too, but they leave just enough like room in case, whatever. But he's 99% dead. I agree.
Yeah. But you could tell, and I like it in here where Fighter XX really has mixed emotions about what's going on.
Yeah, which is weird because it's almost like Fighter D is like, fuck all these guys, I'm gonna conquer the world. But compared to her, he's like kind of a nice guy, And then she's like, I'll kill them all, I don't care. And then but compared to the boss, she's kind of nice, like it's like she's in the middle of the two of them as far as their morality scale or whatever. Yeah,
it is funny because it is a thing where when D found her, she was like, I want to kill everybody. And now the boss is here. He's like, I'm going to kill everybody. She's like, okay, maybe I need to rethink this.
But she's going along. I mean, we see that through characterization, but on the surface, she's like, I'm with you, boss, Well,
because, I mean, think about it. If you were there, you're like, if I say no.
I agree. But we don't know what's actually going on in her head. She hasn't come out and said it, but you're right.
Yeah. This part I kind of liked where D is kind of hiding, seeing if one of the guys on his squad is going to turn coat and go to the jerk squad, and he doesn't. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
And then he pops up out of nowhere like, haha, you jerks are going to lose tomorrow. I see. Haha,
and
ninja.
Also in his head as a monster, he's like, he should have done it, the fool. Like, so it's that thing where he's playing his part so well that like you forget it's not what's his name? Hibiki? Is that his name?
Something like that.
The human. You forget he's not the human.
Yeah. I mean, I don't forget, but maybe you forget. I don't know.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't forget that he is a duster, but I sometimes forget, and I think this is probably on purpose too, because he's maybe forgetting himself a little bit because he's play acting this like team oriented, let's do the right thing character so much that like sometimes you forget that that's not who he really is.
I was poking fun at you. This part I'm excited to see where all of the junior ranks are like, there's a boss monster we got to go kill, y'all. Let's do it.
Also like, let's keep it a secret still.
Yeah. I have a feeling Yellow's going to turn when it comes down to that fight.
You think they're going to turn and be on the side of the boss?
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me only in the sense that there's something weird with her. Maybe that's the thing she's going to do. I don't know. But like, I think if she does, it won't be that she's betraying the human race. She's like, oh, this is a way to get at the Rangers.
100%. I think it's a thing where she's holding her betrayal card like a Uno draw for, and once she goes, there's no turning back. So she's not using it for like helping D in this or anything. She's like, nope, when I turn, I'm turning full stop. Like there's no halfway.
She did help D a little bit, but did it in a believable way where it wasn't like,
it wasn't blatant of like, quick, it's me or him. It's like, okay, like, love this. Just flexing all around.
And that's the thing. You're right. This is the type of character I normally like. And until he turned into a skeletal old man for no reason, I had no problems with
just a big oaf.
Yeah.
So here I think is when they reveal. Oh yeah, this part was cool. I was like, wait a minute. Wait. I thought that guy was dead. Yeah.
I was like, is this a flashback or did they patch him up off screen? Like what's happening here? But I did not guess the truth immediately. Did you?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was D spreading himself into two beings.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I did not know it was. I didn't know it was who it was.
That's a better theory than mine. I thought it was D, and not at first. I was like, well, what's going on here? But then later, I thought it was D, and I thought Hibiki was himself. Like I thought Hibiki came back and had a robot arm, or D was giving him a fake arm or something. But I thought it was Hibiki was the human again, and then D was the other guy. I thought it was fun.
That's a better theory than what I thought.
I think they're both plausible. Well, no, I guess how would he imbue sentience to two?
Well, that's the thing. Because he's done it before with like an arm. So I was wondering if he did it where he's just like stops and then an explosion happens and he can have him mysteriously go away.
Which does bring up a good point. Going back to divine artifacts, Red's divine artifact still missing. The best guess is that Yellow has it, but we don't know, and no one's talked about it since. So it's
Then I'm trying to remember what's in this episode, not in the other.
They're showing the full mode.
So it was in this mode. Okay, so burst mode with these is pretty cool. It drains the battery faster, but you get like a giant, mega anime Power Ranger beam.
It's almost like a whip. Like it's a sword, but the way he swings it and just like smashes everything.
Yeah, I really like that. We definitely get to see just full anime dramatics in this one-on-one right here, and I love it. I love every second of it.
And I do like how he's like, oh, it's willpower, and then the white hair guy whose name I forget just starts smashing it. Like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna, whatever. Just like, and he just like unlocks the mode just by being angry enough at it.
The thing that confused me is they kept being like, I'm gonna use all of my passion and rage, and I'm like, is that charged on emotion, or is this just like you being strong mid-fight for your own self in
I think it was him doing the thing, the heart of the cards, like, I'm never going to give up. But because he was never giving up and smashing it, like he managed to get it to do the thing. Like it was a little of, hey, here's a logical reason, but also really it's just.
No, I didn't mean him smashing it. I mean, like during this fight and other fights we'll see, like D specifically says it, like, I'm going to use all of this emotion and like, I can't tell if it's like, it'll make me seem stronger when I'm pushing, or it is legitimately helping this burst mode.
I assumed that that is just flavor text and emotion, and I'm not holding back, and I'm giving 110%. I didn't think it had anything to do with the power of the burst mode.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement.
So he's like, oh crap, he has the burst mode too now, and then the end.
Yep.
And then dancing. I don't think there's any after credits, was there?
It was just the puppet thing of like, next episode we're gonna find out some more stuff, and that was it.
Yeah, and I don't usually watch those puppet modes. It's funny that they have that little whatever its name is that we saw like one time in the whole episode or the whole show, I should say.
Yeah. But overall, I liked it. I know this is, as you said, the low point for us in the series, but that doesn't mean it's bad. We're just used to the highs.
Yeah, and I said this even going in, and it hasn't gotten bad. It hasn't really turned. But it was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Oh, I didn't see that coming. This is wild. This is wild. This is wild. And now I feel like we're a little bit into a groove. Now they're going to like have some wild stuff happening with this boss and everything else. But like, it's not bad. It's just no longer edge of my seat. It's sort of just regular. Like,
yeah. I without going too much into episode 9, I'm very excited for episode 10. But until we talk about episode 9, I have been the big. Wait. Actually, before we do the closeout, I'm rocking a Power Morphicon shirt today. You could see us there in a few weeks if you're watching this in real time.
It's true.
And hopefully you do, because we're going to be there for the first time together since 2018. Can you believe it?
It's true, yeah. And we'll the table will be in Artist Alley under the Gazbot name, but the big dog will be there.
Yeah, if you see either one of us, please say hi. All 12 of you watching, much appreciated. And until next time.
More than 12, less than 50.
I am the big dog.
And I continue to be Gazbot.
And to the power. See y'all later.
The power. And credits?
Ever since we reviewed 7, I've been debating on if I'm going to try to get into reading this or not. Every week, the temptation is more and more real.
I don't know. It's like, but then it's going to, well, we talked about maybe not reviewing season 2 potentially. If you start reading the manga, we definitely can't review the show because you'll know what's happening. Stuff.
Probably not, unless like all the 10 volumes or whatever go up to here, which doesn't seem likely, but who knows?
I do think there's only 12 episodes this season, or there's a mid-season stop, because I looked yesterday and it was only at 12. So we're done.
Probably
at 12.
just 12, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about Kaiju 8 is another show I want to watch. But I was then thinking, or do I want to read the manga?
I will 100% read it with you.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that off the air.
Sounds good.
See you later, everybody.